The king of the hypercars is still a card-carrying lunatic. You take one liberty with it, and trust me on this, you are going down. Wow, that is exactly how the folks at Top Gear describe the sheer, terrifying thrill of the car we're looking at today. It's a vehicle that absolutely commands respect, fear, and a whole lot of admiration. For so many of us, this was the ultimate bedroom poster car of a generation. But beyond just its stunning looks, this car represents a fascinating, pivotal moment in automotive history. It was the crucial bridge that connected classic, unhinged Italian madness with modern, sensible German engineering.
Here's the roadmap for today. First up, a new V12 era. Then, Audi meets Italian madness. After that, we'll hit supercar quirks and features, followed by unleashing the V12 beast. And finally, we'll wrap up with the value of a legend. Let's get right into it.
Part 1. A new V12 era. The bridge between history and the future.
So, the Murciélago, which was introduced in 2001 for the 2002 model year, sits right in the sweet spot as the critical fourth generation of Lamborghini's historical V12 flagship models. It follows the groundbreaking Miura in '66, the legendary Countach in '74, and the wild Diablo in 1990. Then it perfectly sets the stage for the modern Aventador in 2011 and the brand new Revuelto in 2023. It's literally the perfect transition point right in the middle of this incredible lineage. What made this specific generation so radically different? Well, it was the very first model fully developed right after Audi scooped up Lamborghini in 1999. Audi essentially dragged the brand kicking and screaming straight into the 21st century. They introduced a super rigid carbon fiber and stainless steel tubular space frame. And, crucially, they made this the first full production Lambo to feature a full-time all-wheel drive system, sending 70% of the torque to the rear and 30% up front. Plus, they rolled out the E-Gear automated manual transmission, clocking shifts in just 150 milliseconds. Basically, Audi slapped some much-needed tech and safety nets onto a brand that was previously famous for building incredibly beautiful but incredibly dangerous death traps. Moving on to Part 2. Audi meets Italian madness, sensible German engineering versus untamed Italian spirit. There is such a hilarious culture clash here between the sensible German parent company and these stubborn Italian designers. Look at Audi's sensible additions. For the first time ever, a Lamborghini had air conditioning that actually worked, rather than just feeling like a mouse coughing on you. It actually had satellite navigation and even a surprisingly roomy front trunk, or frunk. But then you have the retained Lamborghini madness. You still have virtually zero rear visibility, the ride is unbelievably harsh on bad roads, the brakes are super grabby, the car is terrifyingly wide, and the steering? Completely exhausting. It's an absolute workout just to turn the wheel. This culture clash is summed up perfectly by automotive reviewer Doug DeMuro. He pointed out that the seats are literally angled towards the center of the car. Because the massive transmission sits right in the middle, pushing into the cabin in a giant V shape, the driver and passenger actually have to sit at an angle. As DeMuro puts it, it's incredibly unsettling. If you look straight ahead, you're actually looking off to the right. You genuinely don't feel like you are traveling in the same direction as the car. Section 3. Supercar quirks and features. The hilarious absurdities of the Murciélago. To clear that massive windshield, there aren't two standard wipers. Nope, it uses one gargantuan 27-inch single wiper blade. And the aerodynamics aren't even symmetrical. There's a functional air intake in front of the driver's side rear wheel to cool the oil, but on the passenger side, totally fake, just a dummy vent. Now, if you happen to get a flat tire, Lamborghini graciously provides a can of sealant, a compressor, and, I am not making this up, white leather gloves so you don't get your hands dirty on the side of the road. The car also constantly, randomly beeps at you if doors are left open or unlocked. Oh, and the seatbelts? They pull from the center console outward, completely backward from a normal car. Which brings us to Section 4. Unleashing the V12 beast, the raw power and visceral experience. 640. That is the staggering horsepower cranked out by the later LP640 model. We are talking about a massive 6.5-liter naturally aspirated V12 engine sitting mere inches behind your head. And all that raw power translates to one terrifying top speed, 207 miles per hour. It also rockets from 0 to 60 in just 3.4 seconds. Remember, this car was developed back in the early 2000s, so these numbers were absolutely mind-bending for the era.
But, it's not just about the numbers, it's really about the feeling. The reviewers at Throttle House captured it perfectly when they asked, "Why does it feel like the engine is actually in my skull? It literally tickles you." The sheer volume, the crazy vibration, the massive rush of air from the cooling fans out back, it is a bone-shaking, deeply physical thrill just to rev this engine.
And that brings us to a really crucial takeaway here. You absolutely do not need to be doing 207 miles an hour to feel the drama. The Murciélago gives you a true supercar experience at literally any speed. Because of that heavy steering, those grabby brakes, the incredibly wide stance, and that roaring engine, you're constantly wrestling with the car. It never, ever lets you forget what you're driving. Every single trip, even just a quick run down the street, is a massive theatrical event. All right, our final section, Part 5. The value of a legend, why the Murciélago is appreciating. This car has some serious financial staying power. Back in 2008, a Murciélago LP640 had an original base price of around $315,000. 10 years later, its value sat at roughly $215,000. That's a 70% value retention. To really put that into perspective, let's compare it to a standard high-end luxury vehicle from that exact same year, like a 2008 Range Rover. The Range Rover retained a measly 24% of its value over that same period. The Murciélago isn't just a fun car, it's a financial asset that totally defies the normal depreciation curve. And honestly, for certain models, saying they retain value is the understatement of the century. Because Audi pushed that E-gear transmission so hard, the standard 6-speed manual versions became incredibly rare. Today, those ultra-rare 3-pedal manual Murciélagos command near million-dollar price tags. No way, right? But it was the very last time Lamborghini ever let drivers row their own gears in a V12 flagship, and collectors are happily paying an absolute premium to get that analog experience. So that leaves us with this final provocative question. When Audi took the reins and added things like all-wheel drive, working air conditioning, and sensible ergonomics, did they ruin the terrifying, unruly soul of Lamborghini? Or did they actually manage to perfectly preserve that Italian madness, packaging it into a reliable, usable, and now highly appreciating legend? It's a debate car enthusiasts are going to be having for decades to come. Thanks so much for tuning into this explainer, and I hope this breakdown sparked your curiosity to go out and explore even more automotive history.